Imposter is a sign that you are getting out of the comfort zone. So the pain of not taking a risk was greater than the pain of losing opportunity or letting go of the dream.
Yes, you are afraid, but you still do it.
You cannot imagine how many founders or successful people I work with who achieved so much already, yet inside something feels empty. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. You don't have to be perfect to build something.
So let's start with the very beginning.
Who are you?
I'm Natasha Christian, a marketer for brands and startups, and I'm having conversation with founders. So today we're going to talk with Anna. She's a psychologist, she's a leadership coach, and also a TEDx speaker. Enjoy. So Anna, hello.
Hello.
So let's start with the very beginning. Tell me a bit about yourself. How would you describe yourself? Who are you?
Very nice question, and thank you so much for having me here. Who is Anna? Anna, someone who feels deeply, I think, and I help other people feel as well.
So rare that
That's the
somebody
first
would
thing
start
that-
that and not saying, okay, I'm Anna. Anna is a psychologist.
I really like the second part of your question, like, what is that thing about Anna? So I think from the time I was very little, I tend to feel a lot. But with time, I learned to take it as a gift. And with time, I did my profession to actually feel deeply and help other people to feel, to understand themselves. If to answer your question in a more formal way, I'm a psychologist, a leadership coach, a TEDx speaker, community builder as well, a founder. I have my own practice. I build communities. I do leadership programs, and I don't really speak on TEDx. I organize them as well, particularly TEDx Women.
I know you didn't start being a psychologist.
That's
straight away.
true.
How and why?
There is a story behind my pivoting moment. I used to be an architect in the past.
You know, you're still an architect of the soul.
That's true. Once you are an architect, you are always an architect, because I think studying architecture and working as an architect, it's the way how you see the world. It's the way how you observe. It's the way how you pay attention to the details. It's the way how you organize processes. So actually my background in architecture helped me a lot. Before that, I had no idea who I wanted to become. Or
An astronaut or something like
no,
that?
but I thought I wanted to be an artist. I was good in painting, but for my parents, it wasn't safe enough. It wasn't good enough. So I was strongly discouraged to pursue that path. And eventually, architecture was something of a compromise. It combined my talents to do art, but also mathematics. So my parents were happy. Hello, mom and dad. But little did they know that I wouldn't stick to architecture, and
They definitely didn't. Like, this is something for sure, but 100% they didn't know.
yeah. I loved architecture, but with time I realized that there is something more. There is something more I wanted to do, and I started exploring it through meditation. I became a certified meditation teacher, and I was helping stressed architects to feel better about themselves, their life, their deadlines. And then with time, I wanted to go a bit deeper into the world, and I did a conversion degree in psychology. And this is how I'm finding now.
Were you
A lot.
afraid? That's honestly, that's what many people say. When they start something new and change to something completely new, it's pretty much, let's say, going full on into what you believe for, actually going independent and etc., like being around yourself. How?
It was very scary, especially considering that I did it in my late 20s, while already having 7 years of architectural career. I changed the companies just to make sure. I didn't like the company, but the last company was amazing, and I really had a good time there. But I confirmed that it was still not fulfilling, and I think I would have regretted if I didn't take a risk and tried. The way how I dealt with fear, I was telling myself, Anna, if the psychology path doesn't happen to you, you can always come back. I was telling this story to myself for the first year, the second year. Then it became a little bit shaky because my private practice was still taking off, or my inner perfectionist would say, oh, it's never enough. But then I didn't feel like I could come back to architecture anymore.
So like, it's gone now. It's over.
But
Your safe way is closed.
I think the most important thing for me was to support myself, to find the people who supported me in that, who believed in me, and just keep going. And I keep going, and I keep going. And the more steps I did, the more I could see clearly that this is the path I'm meant to take. I know it's a big thing to say and maybe even a bit spiritual, but I definitely feel that where I am now, I was meant to be here, and I love what I do so much, and I feel it's so important.
But let's say back then, when you were in a moment of building, going full on in yourself and believing in yourself and actually trusting your decision, your choice, did it work out right away? Did you have to pivot? Did you have failures? Did you go through all of those, like business growing and business realities? Did you have anything like this?
Many challenges, many, we can call them failures, but at the same time, it depends how you frame it, how you label it. I was afraid I will never have a client. I was afraid no one would trust me because I don't have years of psychology behind me, that I didn't choose it as my first career. So I actually struggled a lot with Imposter. And now from time to time, every new height I take, Imposter is here. But for me, it became a sign. Imposter is here when I do something new. Imposter is a sign that I grow. So I feel I will never get to rid of it.
So you are not afraid of it, you just accepted it?
I had to because it's often here. But again, putting my psychologist hat, this is what I would say to the people I work with. Imposter is not bad. Imposter is a sign that you are getting out of the comfort zone.
Is it bad being in a comfort zone, or you want to say that actually our success and our growth is only outside of comfort zone?
I think it depends on the person. It's definitely not bad to be in the comfort zone. It depends how comfortable you are in different level of comfort. Yeah, I think for me, to some extent, being an architect and having a career in the UK was a comfort zone, but for the part of me, it wasn't acceptable. It wasn't enough. I think I would have had a lot of regrets if I didn't try. So the pain of not taking a risk was greater than the pain of losing opportunity or letting go of the dream.
But in theory, back then, would you be ready to let go?
No, I think my personality is about taking risk. If you would ask me again, who is Anna?
Who is Anna?
Anna is someone for whom it is very important to take the risk and see how far I can come.
That's a super cool one. And the way that we're talking about business founders and etc. Okay, I'm from like, let's say, marketing point of view, you need to have a system, all that correct stuff. But this inner thing, I don't know, wings or something, this inner something, energy, ball of energy that you can take risks. You have this desire.
You are afraid, but you still do it.
Yes, you are afraid, but you still do it. So that's a big part of it.
I think I'm lucky. I feel I was born with it, desire, like to see what is around the corner, to see what I can do. But of course, there were so many obstacles on the way. Take the way I speak, that I come from Belarus, that it was almost impossible for me to dream, study abroad, work abroad, then change the career. Looking back, I can say I'm a bit shy to say, but I can say I am impressed with the path I took.
Honestly, even as a psychologist and person working with all that, you are still saying I'm a bit too shy to say it.
But I did. I am shy, but I did it on camera.
How, let's say, because then I have a question. Sure. Key career growth stories that changed it all, but I can already answer which career stories we're going into. How did you end up in TEDx as yourself and now as a part of it? And why?
In the past, I was someone who always was watching the TEDx talks with curiosity and admiration. I thought this is something that I will never do. It's not for me. But I secretly admired it, and I secretly, maybe unconsciously fantasized, what if one day? But I didn't develop that idea or that thought too much, but I think it stayed with me. Over time, having a career in architecture, being bold enough to imagine maybe I could have a new job where I would need to speak as my work. I went into it. I realized I'm actually good. And the more workshops, speeches I did in a very imperfect way, the more I established that level of acceptance that, okay, I have something important to share. Nothing will stop me from doing that. And then a few years ago, through a networking event, I met a person who happened to be an organizer of one of the TEDx events. And I think I treated it as a sign. And after a while, I asked him, do you have any opening positions for speakers or not? He replied to me, what you would like to speak about? And my heart was beating like this of, oh my God, maybe there is an opportunity. So I came up with a topic, what I want to speak about. I submitted it. I took a few days to think because I didn't have the ready topic for that. I came up with a proposal and I was told that you are on board. So I submitted the proposal and I was told that I am on board, and this is how I did my first TEDx talk.
What were you feeling?
It was hard for me to believe. It was really like a part of me. When you secretly dream of something,
but you still dream.
Exactly. You don't allow yourself to picture you there fully. So when it happened, I think it took me a few days, if not a week. I was afraid to share with someone.
Maybe unless it's
a
wrong email to a wrong person.
Email, or they will change their mind. Yeah, I think even for now, maybe not that many people who were involved in TEDx realized how much it meant for me, for someone who did a lot of public speaking before. But I saw TEDx as like a cherry on top. Of course, I prepared very well. I had a very good speaking coach who helped me with the story. And I think I did it more for me.
Yes.
Maybe it's a selfish way to say it, but I allow myself to acknowledge that I did it for me, for my inner child. It's like a confirmation that, Anna, no matter what happened in the past, no matter where you're from, no matter what imperfections you have, look, you are doing it. You did it, girl, you did it. And I think it was a very important brick into my structure of self-confidence, self-esteem, believing in the self and doing something what I am afraid of.
Did you take it as a sign that you're doing it right with psychology, with inner child?
I think it was the feedback of my clients from how well my methodology was received. I already started creating that foundation that I made the right choice. But of course, every next event helped me to confirm that. And the TEDx was one of them.
We just started talking, let's say, one of the big pieces of your methodology is the work with inner child.
Yes.
A question then.
Of course.
Do you think work with inner child is necessary for business founders and for people who want to do like something like this, something new, something successful? Do you think there is a key to success through working on that side too? Or it's just the outside of sales, distribution?
No. My answer is yes, yes, and yes. I think...
And then why?
I will get to it. In the work, particularly in the child work, I see it as an important leadership tool. It's a tool to connect with yourself, understand different parts of yourself, understand from which space you make decisions, and not only everyday decisions, but also decisions about your business, about your company, about your startups, about your team. We know, if we haven't done inner work, we know very little where the decisions come from.
So pretty much the idea is if you do not do this inner work, some decisions and maybe some reactions when real stuff happens in terms of your business, it's actually not being taken by you, but the inner sides of you that
they could have been taken unconsciously.
okay.
Where sometimes you feel you react and you don't have a choice to react differently. With inner work, you create so much space inside of you from which you can make a choice.
Okay, so you give the consciousness back of how I choose, like you give the
Freedom,
choice.
yes. I think I help people to realize that they can feel so free inside, and from that space of freedom, clarity, confidence, their quality of the decision making can be so much better.
And it's again to our mind, there is a big fear of being rejected, especially for founders and people who start something, who build systems, who talk to investors, who start talking to customers. It involves lots of no's, lots of ignoring all these real parts of life. If you were just working in the office, you might not have this as much, and you are taking it very personally.
That's true. And I think it's a path for almost every one of us to face the rejection and realize it's not always about you.
I think it's very rarely about you, actually.
Yeah, but the way how we take rejection connected to our childhood very directly. How we were comforted by the caregivers around us in the time when something what we really wanted didn't happen to us, or when we wanted love and attention, mom or dad were busy to give it to us. We don't think about it, but these processes, these mechanisms, these patterns, they are inbuilt in us. And very often, especially under stressful situations that startups imposes on us, we react rather than respond to the situation. And by reacting, we activate that 7 years old Anna who might have been afraid of rejection. And then subconsciously, I might not push enough or go too far or dare to dream big as a protective mechanism
of not getting it,
of not getting pain from rejection. How important it is to become aware of those inner children inside of us. And if they are afraid of rejection, if they are afraid to be seen, if they are afraid to take risk, what we can do to comfort them. In my work, I talk a lot about creating inner, how we create it safe enough inside for different parts of us to play in life.
We all play.
Play. What if life is a game?
It sounds so easy, but now I'm feeling so deep. I need time to process it. I'll have to come back to it.
That's okay.
You started talking about that you are doing leadership workshops. How is it called?
Yes. Conscious leadership.
Who is a good leader? What kind of qualities does a good leader have?
In my view, a good leader is someone who has an ability to build authentic relationship. Now, I define 4 types of the relationship that each leader can build. Themselves, the self, the past, what happened to me, the story I tell myself about myself, the other people, because you don't lead in isolation, and the world around us, something bigger. And for me, leadership is relational. And the quality of you as a leader depends on the quality of the relationship you build.
Anything else?
Empathy, compassion, ability to communicate, emotional intelligence.
It's actually funny, like you are saying it from psychology point of view, but right away I'm in my brain translating into marketing and business and launches and etc. It's actually, how to say, but it's true. What you say is true even on that side, because successful leader, like whoever can, first of all, it's about leading people. You lead your team, you lead customers, but it's all about building a relationship with people, building the emotional connection with your brand because they either care about you or want to be a part of it. So it's true, it's all about connection.
And the depth and the quality of the relationship you build with others directly correlates with the depth and the quality of the relationship you have.
I think it's so scary for many people.
Yeah, you think
because also I was thinking it's about what you have inside and let's say outside. We as humans, but now I'm saying from business point of view, we love outside because outside is visible.
Tangible.
Yes, the ads, like outside is visible. But I see founders being scared to look inside, the inside things that nobody else knows, like the very center of the system. It's scary. So it's much easier to do the outside visible part of work, because this is actually scary in terms of truth.
If I don't have a habit to look inside, the first time I do it, oh my God, it can be overwhelming, scary, uncertain. What is happening inside?
I remember showing analytics to some business founders who have never seen how to count their unit economics. And that's scary. It's like you show the truth that people don't want to see.
That's true. We talk a lot about AI. The AI is here, and it will definitely change the way we lead, the way we work, the way we build startups. Leadership is a lot about strategic decision making. We are already at the point where AI can help us, if not replace us, in strategy, in decisions, in processes, in automations. So what is left for us humans to create? Definitely nurture, protect, and enhance our human ability to connect to each other as human beings.
Do you think you're a good leader?
I would like to think so. Imperfect, but good enough. I'm a big fan of Esther Perel. She has a quote on confidence. Confident person is someone who recognizes how flawed they are, yet keep themselves in high regard. Answering your question, I think I'm a leader who is very flawed, but at the same time, I prefer to keep myself in high regard.
I think it's the same as we were talking. You're not afraid to look in the mirror and to see the reality.
From time to time, I am afraid, but I know it's unavoidable. I make it my practice, and then it becomes a part of my life. It's not that scary, and it's not that painful anymore.
I'm giving it place to think for. I also know you're a big supporter, let's say, of women communities.
Yes.
And a big, like, already a few.
Yes.
Why was it important for you to start doing something like this? What does it mean for you?
I think we women need a lot of support, not because we are weak, just because the world is still not a very friendly place for women to exist, to express, to be bold, to be daring, to not only dream, but put it into action. I am blessed about receiving a lot of support on my journey. I realized I want to give back, and creating spaces for women became stronger for me when I moved from London to Paris. I moved away from my community, from my circles, from built networks, and I realized I am alone. Yes, I have my lovely husband. I know a few people, yet I realized I need to build communities. I haven't thought about building community yet. I need to build connection. I need to build my circle from scratch. So I started thinking how I do it. I started doing some steps. I started looking for existing communities, English speaking, because I didn't speak French, that can be in Paris. And I didn't find that many. This is when I thought, okay, I need to create what I wish existed. And I thought,
it's pretty much how every successful business is done.
So it was my own need to belong. I didn't speak the language of the country. It was hard for me to belong. And I was like, okay, I will look for my people through, assuming that I'm not the only one who has a need to connect, to share the journey that I'm on, to share my skills, to help. I put a call for, hey, there is a networking event that I'm planning to organize. Who would like to be on board? And I did it in a Facebook group, and a lot of women resonated with it, and it motivated me, okay, I will actually make it happen. A year and a half ago, I had my first networking event, and I was so afraid that no one would come.
Oh my God!
I didn't sleep very well. I contacted every soul I know in Paris. If it's a man, I would ask them, can you share it with the women? If it's a woman, I would invite them, because I really thought women expats or international women in Paris need it very much. And I was right, because now it's been a year and a half The networking events are still going. On top of that, I am developing a new community, which is more about leadership. This is how I realized I'm not that bad in building communities, but I had to start with it as an experiment. What if I can do it?
I actually like this idea, like taking something as an experiment. It's a good way to think about this.
Because if I failed, that would be okay. Because if you take it as an experiment, you don't know the result of the experiment. If you take it as a game, you never know if you
Like
win.
this game, you know, it's all a game.
But it's so fun to play.
Again, the inner child who likes to play games.
Likes to play.
Oh, see.
All for them.
As I say, from psychology point of view, maybe from leadership point of view, is it important to have communities next to you? What's the benefit of having a community?
From the behavioral psychology, developmental psychology point of view, we are social creatures. We are not born in isolation. We don't grow up in isolation. If the child is left alone, the child will not survive. So deep inside, we have that feeling that if we are not meant to be alone, we're stronger together. We like seeing other people. We like talk to other people. And if we come back to the topic of entrepreneurship, it's very hard to succeed alone.
Yes.
You have a team, your audience, people who believe in you, who support you, who invest money in you. You cannot do anything alone.
That's a good point. I think in terms of entrepreneurs and founders, there's also a big community. It's good, but there's a competition. Like that's a very not clear line in between.
Yeah.
Will steal my idea. In terms of like communities will become bigger. Like it's like a support will one.
Yeah.
It can also be like this negative thing. She's my competitor. She's in my business. You never had that.
I think this is why we need to do it in the child work, whether we see people around as competitors or as a part of our community depends on the lens through which I look at people around me. If a child grew up in the environment where the child was always compared to, oh, she is doing this and that, what about you? Why you're not succeeding in school? Look, John or Veronica, they are doing much better than you. If the child was constantly compared to others, they will grow up with the lens that, oh, other people is my competition. But if I had a different upbringing where I wasn't compared, where I was as a child celebrated for who am I?
Oh my God, it sounds so new for somebody from ex-Soviet countries.
Well, I am sure we have a lot of similarities in the way how we were brought up, but it's not set in stone. But I often say, you are not responsible what happened to you in the past, but as an adult, you're now responsible what you do with it. So when we talk about in the child work, what it involves reparenting their own self, reparenting or becoming a parent to that inner Anna or inner Natasha who could show to her that you don't need to be compared to others. You don't need to see others as a threat. You can see others as your friends. And how much less anxiety we would have in the world if we see others as friends. One of my Buddhist teachers, when I was practicing to lead meditation, he would give us this task as a practice. When you go into the room full of people, what if you would see each as your friend? How it would impact your inner state? And then how it would impact your inner state if you see them as competitors. You don't know, but the thought affects the way how you think, and then would affect the quality of decision making.
And you, let's say, as a founder, person, you know, like with your own practice, when you see other psychologists, you see them as your community?
Most of the time, I can also be triggered, but then I try to, with care and compassion, look at the heart of me, why she's reacting, what she's afraid of, how can I comfort her and help her to reframe the thread that I feel from the competitor as an opportunity for me to grow. So I think this is what I try to do when some fear gets activated in me.
Somehow it still makes me feel better that even you are not Perfect. Everybody is a
God, no.
community. We're all
Thanks,
friends.
though.
No, you of course.
It's very imperfect, but very worthy of sharing my talents and abilities.
Let's come back to the women's communities because there are many business founders, entrepreneurs, freelancers, like actually, I don't know, people who change careers, different type of, let's say, women.
Yeah.
From seeing that many of them and maybe from working with some as a psychologist, can you say, are women founders who achieve success different from male founders? Is there something that makes them different, harder for them, like from psychology point of view?
It's harder for women because, again, the world is still a hostile place for female entrepreneurs.
I was just looking towards me.
Yeah, but it's true. And we need to name the things as they are because I would never wish for a woman to think that it is something wrong with her.
Yes.
That she's feeling more challenges or more obstacles on the path of entrepreneurship. And the society as it is, the patriarchy that we celebrated for many years in the past doesn't always or often work in our favor. Biases, stereotypes, misunderstandings. We experience it a lot, and this is what makes it harder for female founders. But at the same time, it shouldn't stop us to bring our ideas to the world, to create something good for the world, and what is very important personally for me, to be an example for younger generations or for other women around me that, look, if I could make it, girl from Belarus who never thought she could study in Europe or do TEDx or travel, look, if I could do it, you can do it too. We desperately need more female examples. This is why I'm so happy and I'm so grateful to you that you create spaces like that for more female voices to be heard and seen. This is why it's so motivating for me to create TEDx Women, so more women can share their beautiful ideas with the world. More female lead will be on the top decision-making positions. I think we all need to support more women.
Oh, I love it. Let's say going a bit up from just women founders, and we're discuss them. Let's say all the founders. Do you think you can see somebody in terms of in front of you, a business founder? Okay, that person can achieve success. Is there something? You talked about empathy. You talked about communication. This inner, like, child acceptance. Is there anything else needed? Do you think ability to take risks?
Yes. I think what comes from the top of my head to add to what we discussed already is when you understand your why, the mission.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you have a goal, you might achieve it, you might not. If you have a mission,
you might fail achieving your goal, you get a new goal going towards
your mission will always be your North Star. And it's based on the values that you have. Understanding ourselves helps us to understand what is important for me. From that, I answer the question why I do what I do, what is my mission in this life. And then if your mission is important to you, no amount of failures, no amount of rejections, no amount of will stop you.
What is your mission?
I think to keep showing to myself and to people that exploring in the world is not scary, but it's an important step towards holistic success. Because you cannot imagine how many founders or successful people I work with who achieved so much already, yet inside something feels empty. Something feels like never enough. There's a relentless pursuit for something. And I think I'm there and I achieve the next goal and the next goal and the next round of investment and recognition and TEDx and this and that. But inside, someone still feels unloved. So I feel my mission is to help people meet these parts who feel unloved and to show to them that there is nothing to be afraid of, but everything to love, everything to give love to every part of your inner child. Probably that. Through different ways I express myself. Private practice, leadership events, community, TEDx. So, oh.
I actually have one more question. If you could give one piece of advice for business founders or people who want to start something, who are afraid, but who have this desire, what would it be? Maybe from your experience or from your psychology understanding of that process?
Always do what excites you. So it's hard to be an entrepreneur. It's hard. It makes it a little easier when you do something that excites you. So go after your excitement. Learn to understand your whys. Why you do, what is important for you. Try something long enough. Don't give up at the first challenge. Learn to give yourself enough acceptance to see yourself as an imperfect human being, yet keep yourself in high regard. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. You don't have to be perfect to build something great. The level of vulnerability that you will reveal to people around you will help you succeed in a very authentic way.
I think this idea that you don't have to be perfect to succeed, that it's okay to be imperfect and it doesn't block you, it's okay.
Yeah, and succeed in your own way. It allows you, again, not to look at anyone else. Sometimes, of course, it's good to compare what are the market competitors, what has been done before. But come back to your inner child and say, Anna, you are okay the way you are. Do your thing. Once you do your thing for long enough, and if you do it from your heart, if you go after what excites you, your people will find you. Your clients will find you. The people who your product will be helpful will find you.
Oh, I love it. I have one more question.
Go.
What's ahead for Anna?
What is
ahead for Anna?
What is ahead for Anna? Some adventures, more adventures.
More adventures for inner child Anna?
More adventures for my inner child, more curiosity towards how far I can come, how many people's life I can change, how many people I can help. I think with time it became very important for me not only to build comfort and success for myself, but also take other people with me, women especially. How many people, how many lives I can touch with my very modest way of living. This is what ahead of me.
I love it.
Exciting. I love it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natasha. It was a joy.